it's Izzy here, and today I am going to be giving y'all some nonfiction book recommendations because it is Nonfiction November. So these are some books that I think are great. These are ones that I've read recently in the last few months that I would like to recommend to y'all. Let's get into it. First book that I'm going to mention is Witches Run Amok, the Oral History of Disney's Hocus Pocus by Shannon Carlin. So again, this is an oral history, so you are just getting direct quotes, and it's all about the making of the movie Hocus Pocus and everything that went into it. You're not just hearing from the actors, you will hear from the actors, but you're going to hear by the producers, the Disney executives, and the makeup artists, set designers, fans of the movie, drag queens who are inspired by the movie. How this movie just is such a tradition in the Halloween season, and really you can watch it any time of year. That's the awesome thing about movies and about streaming. You can watch it whenever you want, but there's so much that goes into making a movie. So if you love Hollywood, and if you love Halloween, if you love Hocus Pocus, I really recommend you pick this one up just to see the links that it goes to make such a great movie and how everybody felt fantastic about this movie at the premiere. And then it kind of flopped. The critics thought it was boring. It came out the same summer as Jurassic Park. And it came out in summer, and it's a Halloween movie. So it did not do well in theaters. It flopped, but somehow became the tradition and iconic movie with a cult following that it has today. So if you want to learn all about that, pick up Witches Run Amok. It's a new release that came out this year as well. I'm not saving the best for last. I'm saving it for right now. And that is the best nonfiction book that I've read this year. I did it as a buddy read with a friend, and that is The Library Book by Susan Orlean. Back in the mid-1980s, one of the branches of the Los Angeles Public Library, the Central Library in downtown Los Angeles, caught on fire. They still don't know what caused this fire, if it was arson or just electrical malfunction. They do not know how this fire started. Also, smoking was very prevalent at the time, so could have been a cigarette. And this is Southern California, a place that wildfires happen all of the time. I think this book is a great starting book for nonfiction because you're seeing the true crime elements as they try to find out who did this crime, if anybody did it. People were arrested. Henry Peak, he got arrested for this, and he had a very confusing time with it. We had the true crime. We also had memoir of our author, why she started this book, the impact that libraries had on her life and her relationship with her mother. Then we just learn about, it's informative, with libraries and why they are so important to our communities and how they're really the heart and soul, maybe the brain of a community. How it's not just about the books, but everything else that a library does. We also have some historical elements about the city of Los Angeles and the library system in Los Angeles itself. I loved this book so much. It was just so eye-opening, and it just showed how essential libraries are, especially now. They're threatened more than ever, and that is completely awful because it's not just about the books that are there. This really humanizes and puts a human face on the library system in the United States. Sticking with the 1980s in Los Angeles, the next book I have to tell you about is Showtime, Magic, Kareem, Riley, and the Los Angeles Lakers Dynasty of the 1980s by Jeff Pearlman. I did love this book. This book is the book that inspired one of my favorite TV shows, which is Winning Time on HBO. Sadly, that show got canceled. And today it was released that the HBO is now going to be doing a docu-series on the Boston Celtics, which were the rivals of the Los Angeles Lakers in the 1980s. A lot of the times, these nonfiction titles are pretty self-explanatory, so this is about the rise and fall and just everything that went into the Los Angeles Lakers dynasty in the 1980s. And again, like the library book and like Witches Run Amok, you're not just seeing those big, like, it's not just about Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You're going to see more of the behind-the-scenes people. You're going to see coaches who are almost forgotten. You're going to see people in the front office, and not just the GM, but all the other people, because it really takes a team to make that team. It's not just about the team. To make that game atmosphere, the guys who are laying the towels on the seat, they count. The water boys and girls, they count. It is crazy everything that goes into making a team. And as I said, this is in 1980s Los Angeles. Babylon, if you will. And it's just mayhem, and there's so many characters with a lot of these nonfiction books. I think it does a great job at really bringing to life these people from the page, even though, yes, they are real people, but, you know, bringing them off the page and really showing you how these people were. Next, we have a biography, and that is Diana, Her True Story by Andrew Morton. If you watch The Crown, they have a whole episode on the making of this book. This book is a biography, as Andrew Morton wrote it, but Diana did have a lot of say, apparently, what was going into this book. And this book really does a great job at showing how she became the woman that she was. This book was published when Princess Diana was still alive, so keep that in mind, but did a great job at showing why she had the mental struggles that she did and what she really wanted out of life and the person that she really was, not just the people's princess and the glitz and glamour that comes with being a royal or a noble woman in England. That is something I did kind of struggle a bit about when all this nobility talk is just something so foreign to me being from the United States. But it was a great book and great at showing Diana, and I found her so relatable, and I really loved getting to learn about her. And there are pictures in this book as well, so you get to see her childhood and what her childhood was like, and I thought that was really cool. And lastly, I have The Spy and the Traitor, the greatest espionage story of the Cold War by Ben McIntyre. We have a man who is a spy for several countries involved in this story, but we're going to mainly talk about Russia and the UK. He is a Russian man, he's a double agent, and this book had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was so scared of what was going to happen to all the people involved in this story. And I'm not really like a big like spy person. Like, I don't really watch the 007 movies, James Bond. I know about them, but it's just not something I've really ever gotten into. And I've struggled with like John le Carré books in the past, but this nonfiction book had me feeling more thrilled than most thrillers do. It was just so intriguing, and I really had no idea where it was going to go. That's something with these like lesser known people being the spy. You don't know where their stories are going to go because it's not really reported in the newspapers and all. Like Princess Diana, sadly we know what ended up happening to her. With like Magic Johnson, we know what happened to him. We know who's going to win what championship and whatever. But with this book, I didn't know anything about this man who was a spy. I did not know how his story was going to end up. So I was on the edge of my seat wanting to know what was happening, and there was just so much tension reading this book. And it's great when a nonfiction book can bring out all these emotions that a fictional book usually can. Those are all the books that I am going to be recommending for Nonfiction November. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it all the way through, leave a Thanksgiving emoji in the comments below, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in my next one. Bye! If you are familiar with my videos, you're used to seeing Sherman at the end of them. Sadly, Sherman has since passed away, but I would still like to encourage you guys to help your local shelters. Sherman was at the Darlington County Humane Society in rural South Carolina. I always have their link down below in the description if you guys would like to help them, but also help your local shelters as well. You can do that by donating, sharing posts like this one, volunteering, fostering, and adopting, which it's great to do all of those things. Great to help your community, great to help the animals in your community, and I cannot recommend it enough. All of my pets were rescues, they were strays or from animal shelters, and I love them so much, and I know how much love they can give, so knowing these pets at the shelter can equally give that much love, it's amazing. And y'all should totally take part and help out those local animal shelter pets, and please help them.